Okay, so this is just what I think has happened with EmpiresX and EmpireX. Both companies have been attacked by the SEC because they have been doing some wrong things, naughty things against their customers. One was involved in a scam worth anywhere from $40 to $100 million. And another, it's not reported exactly how much, but we know that the SEC has taken interest. One company was investigated and charged on, actually this year, in June, and the other as well this year in August. And one company mentioned the other in the SEC documents, but they're unrelated to each other. So it's very interesting. I mean, off by one letter, both in the same state, both have been, maybe I'm thinking that the SEC knew about one company, and then through that company, they found the other company and decided, hey, let's charge both of them because it's different people who are getting charged. And we're talking about both cryptocurrency-related scams, potentially millions of dollars from both of these companies. And with one of those, the founders have fled to Brazil or Venezuela. I will double check on that. I was like, wow, this is big time stuff, but I've never seen this before. So today we're going to be going through the SEC documentation, getting a little bit more information, and it's pretty fun. It's pretty crazy. So follow me on this scam journey. Okay, so let's begin. SEC.gov, we have SEC charges Empires Consulting Corporation with fake trading scheme. This was released on June 30th, 2022. This is against Empires Consulting Corporation, EmpiresX, its founders, Mr. Emerson, not going to say the last names, and Flavio, and its head trader, Joshua, which is the Florida man being charged. Florida man is from Stuart, Florida. The other company, this is EmpiresX, the other company, EmpireX, without the S, is just south in Coral Gables, Florida. Now, I'm not too familiar, so I looked it up, and looks like it's an hour 46 minutes right now if you take Florida's Turnpike. So not too far away considering the coincidence of this all. Now, later on down, we see that the scheme allegedly raised at least $40 million by luring investors, but many news articles are saying $100 million. According to the SEC's complaint, since at least late 2020, EmpiresX, based in South Florida, sold investments touting daily profits of 1% earned by a trading bot, or rather, Mr. Joshua's manual trading, which in reality was terrible. His trading resulted in massive losses. The bot was fake. It never happened. This was another BitConnect type deal. So instead of investing, it looks like the defendants allegedly misappropriated all these funds, and they leased a Lamborghini. They shopped at Tiffany & Co. They made payments on a second home and more luxurious goods. So the defendants allegedly engaged in an unregistered offering with a slew of fraudulent statements designed to lure investors with the prospect of steady daily profits. The SEC's investigation has uncovered the steps the defendants took to conceal their alleged fraud, and today's action serves to protect investors by bringing that misconduct to light. So, multiple charges, and the SEC wants to work with the CFTC. So the whole investigation is still being conducted. Of course, a lot of charges. The U.S. Department of Justice is in on this as well. And looks like the head trader has been charged and is going to serve 5 years prison time, while the other two Brazilian men fled to Brazil, and their lawyers are not representing them in court. So when we look up EmpireX, we have EmpireX Capital, LLC. It says it's a financial consultant in Coral Gables, Florida, and their website is still up, and I want to show you guys this. So EmpireX, and then the second link literally is EmpireX Capital, LLC et al. So if we go to their website, you're going to see, check this out. It's pretty cool. Look at that. It's an exploding Bitcoin sign. Wow. That is definitely the sign of a Ponzi scheme right there. Look at that. Look at that. Crypto private fund, providing investment services to institutional and accredited investors. I love that. The explosion. So just like any other website, this reminds me of so many. You have the great reviews down at the bottom. So going away from the website for a second, the 28-year-old Joshua from EmpiresX has pleaded guilty as the head trader. He and others frequently and fraudulently promoted, and this was a press release from the Department of Justice. The fraudulent promotion included, among other things, promises of guaranteed returns, which is the #1 way to know if it's a scam in crypto. And they had a proprietary trading bot. Mr. Joshua and his co-conspirators claimed that EmpiresX operated a trading bot that used artificial and human intelligence to maximize profitability for investors. Instead, they operated a Ponzi scheme. After committing guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to commit securities fraud, the former head trader now faces a maximum of 5 years in prison. And the case has been investigated by the FBI in Miami, Homeland Security, Department of Justice. I mean, it's crazy. You got everybody. Now, Mr. Emerson and Flavio are the Brazilian nationals. They're nowhere to be seen, obviously enjoying the riches. So, what's interesting, and when we go to EmpiresX.com, it says it's a parked free courtesy domain from GoDaddy.com. So it looks like the website is gone. No longer. But if we go to Trustpilot, we can find some reviews of EmpiresX.com. August 9th, 2022. I can't log into my account. I don't see 1%. June 21st, fake trader. They have stolen the identity of a Mr. Joshua from Goldman Sachs. Their head trader is no longer registered with FINRA. They are not registered with the SEC to legally offer securities. The two founders have a history of running and creating scams. And this, we can find evidence, which is going to be linked down below. There's a great website. Let's go away from Trustpilot. It's called BehindMLM.com, which has a ton of information about thousands of HYPs, Ponzi schemes, everything. And as early as June 5th, 2021, we have this huge, huge blog about the co-founders. And when we take a look, compare the EmpireX website with the blue logo and exploding Bitcoin to these guys. So you can see a completely different vibe, and look at this, look at this. So they had this whole structure here for affiliate ranks, compensation plan. This is the typical, you know, BitConnect type deal. Hey, you have multiple levels, you have bonuses, you can actually make a ton of money, but it's of course totally illegal, and that's why these guys are facing some serious jail time. But unlike many others, they were actually smart and they were able to flee just in time. So here's one, the EmpireX, and here's the other. I really like their graphics, like this website and their graphic style. Look at this, totally reminds me of a Laser Online type deal. And here's the other one. The other one could have tried a little bit more, but these guys are the ones who stole the $40 to $100 million. These guys are the ones that have all the bad reviews. Oh, here's some fake reviews, as always. So the fun starts when we go to SEC.gov. We see the United States District Court, United States Securities and Exchange Commission versus Empires Consulting Corp, EmpiresX, Mr. Emerson, Flavio, and Joshua. So all we have to do is, once we're on this document, you just have to hit, this is going to be linked down below as well, depending on whether you are on Windows or Mac, you know, Control Find or Command Find. And all you have to do is just type in EmpireX, and it's going to bring you to page 13 of 24. Line 64, Mr. Joshua also lied to investors about EmpiresX SEC registration status by directing them to the SEC filings of an unrelated company with a similar sounding name that contained the term EmpireX. In particular, in the October 11th, 2021 Zoom meeting, Mr. Joshua told investors that they could check the status of EmpiresX's filing with the SEC by going to SEC.gov, searching for EmpiresX, and see the paperwork EmpiresX had filed. After learning that EmpiresX was improperly directing investors to its SEC filings, the true filer with a similar name issued a press release that denied the statements of the company EmpiresX, which has been illegally using our name, address, and financial license from the United States to deceive people worldwide with fraudulent investment operations. So, now what's funny is, I think if this is the company in question, then they're not that good either, because when we go to them, here's the EmpiresX statements, and here's EmpireX, August 31st, 2022, SEC.gov. And this is a different one. His sister Paola and Raphael, a Coral Gables company, they had AKC, which was funneling funds to EmpireX. As stated in the filing, SEC staff served EmpireX and AKC with investigative subpoenas requiring the production of certain documents and served his sister with an investigative subpoena compelling her testimony. The SEC's application seeks an order from the court to show cause why the court should not compel them to produce documents or appear for testimony, and they are facing some serious charges here. So it looks like one of the investors from EmpiresX, I know it's getting confusing, had other scams as well, such as mining Capital Coin, which collapsed by the end of 2018. And with Flavio, he had also some scams that were behind him, such as, Brazilian MLM software company Technology2U. It seems Technology2U ran out of their scams to sell services because they decided to start their own. What's funny is a lot of these behind MLM posts link to other posts, and so many of these guys can potentially run 5, 10, 15 scams. And why wouldn't you? Think about it. You get away with $100 million and you flee the country and you live a crazy lifestyle. Eventually you need more money, and you got away with it before, so what's stopping you? Of course they're going to go to a country where they're able to continue running this, and there's going to be absolutely no problems. Who cares if you're getting sued in a different country where you're never going back there? Looks like someone has discussed how these companies were able to get a basic U.S. incorporation. It's almost as easy as a UK company's house, where you've seen a lot of these scams and HYPs based in the UK, and you look up the address on Google Maps and it's this crazy building. It's kind of like that one in Delaware in the United States where you have 200,000 companies that are registered there. So we have a ton of evidence against these scammers. Now what's interesting is that EmpireX, not too much is written about it. To me, it screams a scam, but we still don't have enough evidence that connects it, by the way, to EmpiresX. So they're unrelated. However, there's got to be something if the SEC is subpoenaing these guys as well, and there's funneling funds around. The Department of Justice also stated it operated EmpiresX a Ponzi scheme by paying earlier investors with money obtained from later EmpiresX investors. They were falsely claiming the company operated a trading bot, which later on they failed to register its investment program with the SEC, and that's why the SEC got involved, of course. There was wire and security fraud charges. The defendants allegedly engaged in an unregistered offering with a slew of fraudulent statements designed to lure investors with the prospect of steady daily profits. And how steady was it? Well, supposedly 1% a day, which translates to 365% annual APY. I mean, that's insane, because even 10% guaranteed, even in cryptocurrency, is enough to kind of make you shake your bases a little bit. But what's happening is a lot of these websites are posted on HYP listings, where there's hundreds or even thousands of these websites, and people sometimes already know willingly that it's a scam, but they rather be greedy and risk their $100, $200, $500 in the hopes that they're able to double, triple it quickly, get it out, and go into another scam and make thousands of dollars that way. And some people do it successfully. Many others fail at it, though. It's kind of like gambling at that point, because you never really know. There's some telltale signs you can look out for, but you never know. Anyways, there's another thing on EmpiresX website back when it was still up. You had the website, just like many other scam sites, if it's non-English speakers, such as these guys who are speaking Portuguese because they're from Brazil, you had Portuguese signs all over the place. And there was spelling errors, and you could easily tell that this was a rush job, which is crazy because, again, they were able to collect at the minimum $40 million, and at the higher end, over $100 million. So definitely quite a bit of money. And it's always strange how fast these things grow. You don't really necessarily need that much marketing. So at the end of this video, we have this one company that still has their website, still seems to be sort of operating, but probably not for longer. So definitely a first that I've seen. But anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. All the links will be down below, and take care.